I don't think I've said this before, and I certainly haven't said it when it's recording. I believe for the next 5 months, it is the best time in the last 3 years to do the work.
Mhm.
For 3 years, we've been dealing with a hot market. We've been dealing with a market that was, everybody seemed to be winning. It wasn't a market that rewarded good operators that did
Mhm.
the work. It rewarded gamblers. And that wasn't fun. But I feel very confident that the next 5 months are going to be the time for people who do the work, who have my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, who have a buy box and daily discipline, who are learning how to use seller financing, that 50, 40, 10, all of these things that we talk about in this channel, they are going to be crushing it. But I didn't want to just stand here myself. I wanted to ask Matt, the lumberjack landlord, who did 19 deals during the crazy market, if I'm just wrong and biased. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm doing great. I think that hits the nail on the head. I mean, there's never you're never going to have all the energy that you want to do all the hard work that you need to do in order to get the business built, right? It's never, but there are better opportunities than others. You know, those who are skilled up in 2020, they did really, really, really well because we saw opportunities. However, to your point, operators largely like us kind of got punished because you had every moron jumping in on a deal, overpaying,
Yeah,
and
overpaying and
all
losing money, and they just didn't know it. Yeah.
right, right. And it's because, it's like they couldn't redo the math, and it's kind of like the conversation we had, whatever it was, maybe 2 weeks ago, where, I always make fun of the crash bros that can't read charts. And then I grab the wrong chart. You know, I perfectly interpreted the chart. I got the wrong chart. So,
That was
let's
the
start
wrong chart.
let's start with picking the right chart, you chucklehead. So yeah, picking the wrong chart isn't the best. But I think that the idea is understanding the market and being in the market, right? And so we're seeing it. So we saw a correction in the first part of this year as far as downward trend in median price. It's rebounded, right? Through the spring season, through the summer season. But we talked to all of our brokers, and what do all they say? They all say that it was the worst spring and the worst summer that they've seen because there was really no inventory.
Right.
So the inventory thing that we've been talking about for a year and a half, or almost 2 years now, continues to be the issue, is inventory. So when I look at it, I think that you're exactly right. The most important thing that you need to know is your market and different asset types in your market, because they don't all move the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so if you're doing the homework over the next 5 months, what I've seen and what I've kind of trended in looking at the right chart this time is, I've actually seen that kind of in that first quarter is going to be your worst pricing,
Mhm.
right? And so because that's going to be your worst pricing kind of in that first quarter, and then you kind of rebound off of that, the question is, are you making new lows in that first quarter? And I still believe that next year in that first quarter, we're going to make new lows. I think we're going to be suffering through some pain. I think it's going to be not pleasant. But I'm not saying crash. I'm just saying correction. I
Yeah.
think that, so. I think we see our newest low lows. The question is, how much of a bounce do we get in the springtime, the summertime, and do we actually start seeing, a regular market? I don't think so, because the world is still full of 2.5% and 3% and 3.5%
Yeah.
debt. So I think you're exactly right. I think the next 5 months, a critical focus to that is going to be hugely important, because people make the mistake of thinking that they need to show up day one and be Mike Zuber.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
guys, it's a
You haven't done 1% of the work to deserve that. Thank you.
success is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And so
Right.
people need to be on that path where they're learning, understanding, gain, and following people that have done it before in multiple market cycles. And then they'll be in the best position to actually pull the trigger when something happens.
Yeah, when I think the next 5 months, again, I mean it. How to get started one rental at a time, the buy box, the focus, the consistency that I teach and preach, and learn average and get to 4, all of that stuff. The next 5 months are going to be the best time for the return on that effort. Why do I say that? I am very clear that I think the next 5 months are going to be slow.
Yeah.
Slow meaning days on. You guys are going to be shocked at how high days on market go by December.
Yeah.
We
Agreed.
are used to days on market being a teenager.
Yeah.
14 days, 13 days,
Sure.
16 days.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 40. It could go north of 50.
Yeah.
And again, historically speaking, not a problem, average. But when you go from 1,000 miles an hour to 100, it feels slow.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I feel good about. And why is a slow market good if you are doing the work? it means that we could find motivated sellers, right? I believe this with every fiber of my body. In every market, in every cycle, there's always motivated sellers. But in some markets, there are stupid buyers. See 2020 and 2021, where people are, paying $50,000, waving this, waving that. Buyers make the market. And when we go into a slow season and the property is, not pretty or needs a new roof or whatever, it's going to be easy. And again, I go back to like last October. I bought a house on the MLS in a great part of town that had what's called a shake roof. It looked horrible. I mean, they look, they're bent up. They're just terrible.
Yeah, curled edges. Yeah,
curled edges, all of that, and it was still watertight. It was really weird. It just looked so bad. Yeah, amazing. But that needed to be replaced. But not many people wanted to tackle that, and it certainly wouldn't have passed FHA or VA guidelines, right? You just took a whole buyer community out. So I bought that property. Yeah, so I bought the property for 30% lower than list price on the MLS. 30%. Replacing a roof, 8, 9, 10 grand when you had to dispose it because it had a separate garage structure, so it was actually like 2 roofs. And we made like 45 grand on that deal just because I knew that, I know how much a roof costs and I got guys that can do that and all of that. So there's going to be more and more properties like that. And then there's a gentleman who I've talked about twice on the Daily Financial News, Ben, who did exactly what I keep telling people. I want people to feel this. He found a fourplex that was listed for 60 days. He wrote an offer price that was 25% below list. The seller countered marginally. The seller took somebody else. That deal fell out. He followed up. He gets the property for his price.
That's amazing.
Follow up. It's not done till it's done.
Yep.
So I just want people to know that if you've been doing the work the last couple of years and it's been tough, now's your time.
It really is. I mean, it's we've all had deals, Mike. If you haven't had a deal fall out yet where they came back to you, you haven't been doing enough deals, or you haven't done enough deals yet. Not that you're not doing enough, you haven't done enough yet.
Yeah, it'll happen. Yeah.
And we've had that happen. We've had that happen on multiple deals, and I just get giddy when they come back. I love it when they have to eat some just a little bit. You're just
because again, the seller gets to a point like in Ben's case where they were already cashed out, right? They had an escrow open. They thought they were sold. It didn't get sold. Now they're like, oh my God, they've already spent the money and all of that. So it's, it's coming. It's coming.
It is, but the 1,000 hours of preparation collides with that one moment of opportunity. Yeah. And the person that is the most prepared will win. Exactly. The person that has done the most homework and understands more ins and outs than everybody else will win. Yeah. And the last thing about this is you got to get ready now, right? Yes. If you think you can get ready in a moment's notice when you see opportunity, you're going to be gambling. Agreed. Get it now. Get your buy box, get the focus, get the daily discipline, tracking, start to learn average. It takes 90 to 100 days. There are no shortcuts. It drives me crazy how many people with money think they could jump the line. You can't jump the line. This is a process. 100%. And we've often find them 2 years later with no money. Yeah, exactly. And then they become the burned out landlord who sells to us. Exactly. I mean, I had a landlord just tell me I had to sell the place. I couldn't afford to maintain it anymore. I saw her rents. The rents were $1,200 and they should have been $19. Ooh. She had raised rents in 7 years. There you go. Those are deals. Well, again, you know what you're doing. I want people to realize a lot of people have been in the game excited, not getting deals. The next 5 to 6 months are our time. I just wanted to see if you agreed with that. I totally agree with it. I think that the market cycles. So would you agree that in the past, the market cycles have moved a lot slower? It's been much more static. Kind of like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I don't know that I agree with that because I don't think there is one market. Yeah, doing this for 20 years, there's a single family market, there's a multifamily market, there's a lending market. But so all of those move different times at different rates. Focused on one, right? Your students are usually only be focused they should only be focused on one. Right. Yeah. So if they're only focused in one and kind of mastering that, then you'll feel like slow and like, man, such like. But when the opportunity comes, it's sudden, right? I always tell people especially in my live streams. I always tell them, you never know if the next thing I'm going to say is the thing that changes your business, that increases your profits 15%. You never know until you ask the question. Ask the question, you know?
Yeah.
And so for us, you and I, because we built our businesses, we know things we did well, we know things that we didn't do well, but we've also seen so many other guys' models that we're just like, yeah, we've seen that before and we've never seen that come out well. So you
Yeah.
probably make that
Yeah.
adjustment. You know?
Yeah. There were plenty of people bragging about unit counts a year or two ago that won't be bragging about unit counts in the next year or two because
No,
they will lost the property.
the one number you care about is margin.
Yeah.
It's margin.
Margin, yield, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do
The
me a
rest
favor.
is
Where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram, also on live streams on Sundays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And check out the course. And if you read the syllabus and you think it'll help you, we'd love to help.
There you go. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.